Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Today I'm in this 2006 BMW 535D, which I've just bought for £2,000. I find it quite hard to say no to a 5 Series, especially the 535. I've always liked these cars in general, and this one in particular needs a bit of work doing to it, so I thought that was the perfect excuse to get one on the channel. Here we go then, another project car. The 535D is quite an interesting car because when it was launched in 2004, it really showcased just what was possible from a diesel engine. Up until that point, the only reason to buy a diesel was to save some money on fuel. They were always noisier and slower than the petrol equivalents. The only reason you'd ever buy a diesel was to save yourself 2 and 6. But the 535 changed that. Here was a car that was better than its petrol equivalent. It would do 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds. It was limited to 155 miles an hour. And yet it could still achieve 45 miles per gallon on a motorway run. It really was the best of both worlds. Under the bonnet is a 3-litre straight 6 turbo diesel engine, which is one of BMW's better motors. They used this engine in all sorts over the years, but the big difference with this was that it had 2 turbochargers, a smaller one and a larger one, so it eradicated any turbo lag. Before the big turbo spools up and sends you flying forward, there's a smaller turbo whirring away in the background like a top. It's all very clever that, especially for 2004. That means that this old E61 produces 270 horsepower, which means when you floor it, it does feel properly quick. Alright, it makes a bit of a racket, but it pins you into your seat. The power is just relentless. You might be wondering why I bought yet another project car that I'm going to spend thousands on and then never recoup. But, believe it or not, it's the one part of my job that I actually enjoy. I love to see the transformation at the end, and I actually quite enjoy the whole process, even though it's usually bill after bill after bill. This particular BMW is at that crucial point in its life where if it falls into the wrong hands now and they don't look after it, don't maintain it, don't service it, something bad will happen in a year or two and it'll just be crushed, which is a bit of a waste. So what I'm hoping to do is look after it, service it, show it some TLC, and then somebody out there will get a decent car for the next 4 or 5 years. That's the plan anyway. I just get a weird kick out of that whole process. It's quite rewarding. Let me find somewhere quiet to pull over so I can walk you around this one. In fact, before I do that, I've got to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark, who are a long-term sponsor of the channel. And truth be told, it's their sponsorship money which helps me fund these non-profit making challenges. So be sure to check them out, I'll leave the link below. Surfshark are a VPN service provider which helps keep you safe while you're online. It encrypts all your private details both to and from your devices. It hides your IP address so cyber thieves can't see it. It's also handy if you use lots of streaming sites such as Netflix, because if you try to watch one of your favourite TV shows while you're in a foreign country, sometimes that isn't possible. But with Surfshark it is. You can simply change your location settings so it thinks you're in whichever country you'd like, and then that way you can watch your favourite TV shows and films. That's what I mainly use Surfshark for, to be honest. In addition to that, it blocks malware, phishing, ads and other kinds of nastiness, which in turn can speed up your bandwidth and make your device run more smoothly. You can download the app very easily from the App Store and it's very user friendly, and you can use it on multiple devices. We're all online a huge amount of time now and you really don't know how much information you're putting out there, so you really need to protect yourself. Especially if you frequently use public Wi-Fi spots such as at train stations, airports, fast food restaurants, that sort of thing. The last thing you want to do is get your credit card details stolen and your account hacked. If you use the link below, which is surfshark.deals/hypeautos, they'll give you 83% off and 3 months totally free. We're talking roughly £1.35 a month here, so don't think it's a big expensive commitment because it isn't. Right, I was going to give you a walk around tour of it, but as nice as the weather is today, it's quite windy and the audio sounded atrocious, so I'll just give you a rolling commentary, I think. Firstly, the wheels need to be refurbished because they look a mess. They're all flaking and blistering like a ginger person that spent too long in the sun. So I need to get those professionally dipped, stripped and then powder coated. Next thing while we're talking about wheels are the tyres. I've noticed on the MOT history check that the rear 2 tyres are wearing thin, so they need to be replaced. It was MOT'd this recently and I can't believe they've left them as an advice rather than just replacing them with new tyres. Tyres are one of the most important things to keep you safe while you're driving a car, so just put 2 new tyres on. Anyway, so I've got to put 2 new tyres on. The wheels will need balancing too, because when you get up to 60 or 70 miles an hour on the motorway, there's quite a bad wobble. Both the front and rear bumpers are scuffed and damaged, so they need to be repaired and then resprayed. So Jimmy, if you're watching this, I'll see you soon, no doubt. Next up, the wing mirror brackets have oxidised and the black paint has just started to peel off. It's gone quite chalky, so they need to be done. I think cosmetically, once those few bits are done, it should look good. They still have quite a lot of presence, these cars, especially this one. This one's an M Sport model. They just sit really well. I don't think they've aged at all. They have a timeless quality to them. Moving inside, there are a few little bits that are broken, such as the driver's seat adjuster. So you pull this lever here, you normally should be able to slide the seat forward or back, and I can't, so I'm just stuck in this position. It's a good job the previous owner wasn't Danny DeVito. The ashtray cover down here is broken, so that needs to be mended. That's one thing I don't like about the E60 or E61. There isn't enough storage in this centre console. I've got nowhere for my keys, wallet, phone. I know you're going to say pockets. The first person to say pockets is blocked. I like to just be able to just get in a car and throw my things down somewhere in a cup holder or something, and there isn't any, or there aren't any. There are two cup holders which pop out from the dash, but because they pop out, you can't exactly keep my phone or wallet in them. Moving on to mechanical things. I think I need some new discs because there's a little bit of brake judder. I'll give it a thorough engine service because the car's now done 167,000 miles, and according to its service record, the last stamp in the book was about 125. So I can't believe nobody's serviced this car for about 40,000 miles. It always amazes me why people don't bother getting the car serviced. Every time you MOT it, why don't you just drain the oil and filter? It's not rocket science. There's an occasional flutter on the revs. When it's under a little bit of load, there's a bit of a vibration. That could be injectors, the EGR, not sure. Need to get that checked. I could do an EGR delete and then perhaps remap it. They're words I never thought I'd utter. I think also I'll give it a gearbox service because I don't think that's ever been done. So some fresh fluid and a fresh filter won't hurt. And then that's pretty much it, I think. It's only had 3 owners in 15 years, this car, which is quite surprising for a car like this. So I think it deserves a bit of TLC. It's got some nice options too, like a sunroof, which works, and heated seats. I'm going to try this time to work to a budget. So I've set myself a budget of £1,500 to do all those jobs. And that, once it's done, added to the £2,000 purchase price, will mean that this car will owe me somewhere in the region of £3,500, possibly closer to 4, but I'll try and stick to the budget. I just think for £4,000, there or thereabouts, what an awesome car. It'll then be both mechanically and cosmetically sound, and should last somebody for a good number of years. The 535D's got to be the most complete, versatile family car on the market. I mean, even 15 years later, this drives well, feels solid, feels strong. The boot is impressively large, so it makes it a very good family hauler, this. This is why whenever I see people in a Qashqai or Tiguan or whatever, I just think, why have you bothered buying that? You could have bought yourself a 530 or 535 diesel and still enjoyed driving it. A Nissan Qashqai doesn't have 270 horsepower, nor is it rear-wheel drive. It certainly isn't capable of 0 to 60 in around 6 seconds. As all-rounders go, the 535 diesel Touring is about as good as it gets. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. I'll leave the link below. If you've got any comments or questions, let me know and I'll do my best to get back to you. Don't forget to check out Surfshark, I'll leave the link below. And yeah, stick around for part 2, when my wallet will be opened and its contents forcibly removed. Cheers guys. See you next time.